Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning we're going to talk about why it's so hard to be content. So let's jump right into it. So whether you look at your financial position, your health or physique, your family or your friendships, or even your role, position, or contribution to society, sometimes it can be difficult to be content. We may feel content in one area while feeling lacking or inadequate in other areas accordingly. So you may have a certain area where you feel like you're on top of the world, but another area that you're really needing to improve upon, you really need to focus on in order for you to level up in that area. Now, Webster defines the verb of content as to limit oneself in requirements, desires, or actions. So people spend an astronomical amount of money each year to feel good, to feel content, to feel like they are succeeding, or at least looking like they are succeeding. Now, I believe that social media has not helped this situation, and in fact has made this aspect of contentment especially difficult, and I would even say exponentially more difficult. So becoming content can be such a difficult topic to try to address, and when you're looking at the definition, meaning to limit, oftentimes people give a visceral reaction to feeling like they're limited or restricted. So this meaning that you are actively choosing to be happy with what you have, to not dwell on what you don't have or what you can't participate in, and that you are actively working on controlling the controllables. So how do you even measure how content you are, though? I mean, it can be something that's so fleeting, and in that one moment, you can feel like everything is going well and that you wouldn't change any aspect of life. And the next, you can catastrophize the future and feeling like you are spinning your wheels, but you're going nowhere. Now, we also struggle to figure out the fine line between contentment and complacency. Now, complacency can be especially dangerous in not only not being happy, but being indifferent about making the changes that we actually need to make in order to improve our lives. Now, this can lead you to no longer be aware of the changes that need to take place, leading you down a path of just never improving, never growing. So being that building margin is focused around financial margin, think about your finances. Are you content, or have you become complacent? Knowing the difference and which applies to you will be especially important. So I find myself thinking about this concept of contentment a lot. I'm so thankful and grateful and blessed for what I have, but I often feel like I'm striving or yearning for more. Now, part of this is the drive, maybe the intrinsic motivation, or even the hustle that I have. But part of it could also just be a lack of contentment I have, and that constant drive to try to improve situations and improve my world. Now, you probably have been told along the way to build in gratitude to your daily routine, as to ensure that you are not getting caught up in focusing on the highlights of someone else's life while missing out on all that you have. Now, I find that this aspect of gratitude is really important in a routine. So you're actually reflecting on everything that is positive, everything that's good going on in your world. But I think this can be trumped by the fact that we oftentimes have a difficult time in our society not comparing ourselves with others, which ends up stealing our ability to focus on what we do have. So do you ever feel like you can't even celebrate for or with someone else on a win that they've experienced because of being so caught up in how you are comparing yourself to that win and how it actually makes you feel? Now, this can lead to a more dangerous place of jealousy or even envy of what they have, either wishing we had what they had, or believing that if we don't have what they have, they shouldn't have it either. Now, we're seeing this a lot in our society, and our society is pushing almost a narcissism in each other by making us so concerned about what we think, what we feel, how we perceive others to think of us, and really getting caught up in almost putting words in other people's mouths of what they are thinking of you and how they perceive you, and so on and so forth. And it's causing us to not even be able to be present, to be able to be still, and to be intentional with our own lives because we're so involved in watching someone else's life. Now, being that we are going through a theme on care, it's impossible to discuss care without discussing the concept of contentment. Now, being content is a actual choice. It's a choice to get up every day and choose to reflect on all that you have. Choosing to celebrate others' wins, choosing to be proactively growing to accomplish the goals, the aspirations, and ultimately the vision that you have set out to accomplish for yourself. So it is said that there's a reason why the windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. Now, I would even take it a step further than that and say that the driver and the passenger door windows are also smaller than the windshield intentionally, because we're not supposed to be constantly absorbed with, involved in, or focused on what other people are doing. We need to be focused on what we have to accomplish so that we don't get distracted from what our most valuable contribution is. So my call to action today is to think about whether you are actually content, and more specifically, in what areas. Now, use this as an opportunity to look at the aspects of life to see if you are truly content or if you have become complacent. Then process through actively working to move away from complacency and focus on what you actually have. Now, this will give you motivation to change what needs to change while being thankful for what you have. If this information is helpful to you, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're reminded to come back on a daily basis and improve in managing your personal finances. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.